Shut up and sit down.
Well, hello, Internet. Sorry for the late start time, but honestly, we're epic fail. Have you ever really known us to be on time to begin with? We're still working on some audio stuff, but yeah, it'll be okay. We'll get it fixed, guys. But gotta live up to that name, right? Anyway, I am Draven Dresden. With me this week, well, I couldn't get rid of him permanently, guys. I tried and I tried, but he just won't go away. He's like that thing you got when you went to Vegas. Hi, Galv.
What's up?
Today has been a day.
Yeah, it
how
has.
have you been this? How long have you been gone? Like 2 weeks, 3 weeks?
Yeah, we've been haven't been on for about 2 weeks though. It's gone really well. A couple cool things have happened since then, but I finished off May rank 7 for Hearthstone. I've got, you can probably see the new headgear. Normally I wear my Kraken Razor headset, which is green, but this one is an Artemis Spectrum Snow headset from Logitech that I won for placing first in a Hearthstone tournament. So that was pretty cool. Done really well with the fire department. Got a couple of carries done since we talked last, and looking forward to a bunch of new stuff coming out too. So, yeah. Oh, you've got those as well?
No, I don't have the snow. I've just got the regular. I got the black ones.
Well, for free, these are great, and it was for a great charity, Children's. It's Hope for Gaming. So I was pretty happy about that. Yeah, and I got a couple new toys behind me. You can't see it, but that's on purpose. Is my Elgato Stream green screen, which is pretty cool. So yeah, dog's going well, life's going well in general, and gaming's going well. So yeah, how's it been with you, Draven? What's new?
Well, in terms of games and stuff like that, it hasn't been too bad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 characters. I'm running through the daily things, trying to do a dungeon on most of them. They're not all Argus unlocked, so anytime an Argus daily world quest group emissary thing pops up, I'm like, well, that's 2 I don't have to do. So I'm just basically collecting legendaries to get some help on the Mage Towers for the ones that I want to do.
Makes sense.
Yeah. But I said today's been a day. Well, that started last night. It rained, which isn't normally a horrible thing, except that it rained so hard, so fast that the entire area was flooded. And I've never been
Oh man.
I've never dealt with flood type stuff before. So, like, the road was gone. Luckily, I parked up on a hill instead of down at the road, because from what I'm told, my car would have gone kind of floating down the road. Maybe I could have just put sail away on, and it's in the speaker to roll the windows down and let it come sail away.
Come sail away,
Yeah.
come sail away with me.
Yeah. So today was dealing with the aftermath of said flood. I wasn't home until almost 8 o'clock, which is tonight, which is about 2.5 hours ago at this point for the people in live. But luckily, I spent a lot of time earlier the week, like Thursday and Friday, setting up this new Streamlabs OBS thing I've got. Hopefully, we'll get all the things, all the kinks worked out and all that, such as audio and all that fun stuff. But
Well, I mean, to start off with, man, though, the quality looks pretty good.
yeah,
I started using OBS Streamlabs just recently as well, and I've been impressed.
Yeah. And then I've got over on the far right side over there, you know how I normally do the picture. I've got Sargeras' sword covering the entire thing and or behind everything and all that. I spent some time, guys, playing with this program. Still learning a lot of stuff, but we got the new start screen thing and all that, and figuring out how to do the mixing pictures and all that fun stuff. So yeah, it's been mostly not exciting in terms of game stuff, but just learning more tech stuff that I hadn't messed with in a while.
One of the cool side effects is, even though Draven's hosting, because I've got my green screen behind me, and my spider sense has been going off because he can lay graphics down with the no problem. Appreciate it. Yeah, you can catch they got podcast on iTunes
if you can find it,
Stitcher. Yeah, but definitely
It's
YouTube.
weird.
And I'll tell you what, I will link one to you later in Discord. Sushi Boy Simon, appreciate the drop by.
So the issue, and I say if you can find on iTunes, some people can find it, some people can't. They won't get back to me. So I'm stuck. I gave up on them. So I'm like, screw you, iTunes. So yeah, YouTube. If you need, I can send you the video when it goes live or the audio later. Yeah, we'll have the VOD here. It's over on YouTube. I throw them up on YouTube.
Definitely appreciate it.
Piece of cut. But anyway, now that we've derailed more than once, I got to help my mom take her little puppies. I don't know. Have I showed pictures on the show? Well, they're literal. Like,
show some pictures. Bring on the puppies, because that will improve our ratings.
I probably will. I'll have stuff set up for next week. But they're 7 and 10 pounds now, and they're like 6 months old, 7 months old, somewhere around there. So they're tiny little things. And they got new haircuts the other day, and they look so funny compared to, like, they were like these little bushy things, and now they're just like these itty bitty things. It's amusing.
Well, one of the things I've been working on lately is with my dog, doing dog training, and one of the dogs in the dog training class he's like this big, super young little guy, and the 6th day of training, the last day of training, he had his hair cut, and he must have lost 2 inches of hair on a dog that small, and all the other dogs in the room were like, "Who's this?"
Yep.
It's hilarious.
Yeah. But it's been an entertaining week. I mentioned dealing with the flood. I don't live too far away from my mom, so I was helping over there too, because like I said, the entire area flood. She's training her dogs, and I've been helping out as I can.
Just swim around and put sandbags down? Is that what she's training them to do?
Well, I mean, that would be helpful, but the sandbags weigh more than they do, so not as nearly as much as you'd think. No, getting them trained to be outside for bathroom, housebreaking, that kind of thing. And she's got this invisible fence, and one of them today tried to cross the line with the collar and jumped, and I couldn't. It was like it's funny, but it's not funny, but it's funny. One of those kind of things.
Dogs are like that. They're yeah.
But it is what it is. Anyway,
like it depends on whether I call my dog by his actual name or something like shithead because he's done something completely annoying.
Yeah. Anyway, closest thing I have to a pet is Deadpool.
Which my girlfriend and I watched the original one again today because we're eager to go see number 2 in theaters, and it was like a good refresher.
Yeah, I got this little guy when I went to go to the early screening. I don't have that. It's over there. I don't want to have to go get it. Bob Ross, Deadpool Ross, yeah. But I've got, what is it? The Fabrications? It's the fabric version of Funko.
Oh, yeah.
Someone gave me that for Deadpool, so I did that.
So what might have to happen is I ordered 3 of them. One of them is going to be a white elephant gift for Christmas because I almost got a 6-foot high Bob Ross cutout last time, and I had it until the last minute, and someone stole it away from me. That bastard. But I got enough so I could use one as a white elephant gift, and then I have 2 left. So one I'm going to keep. Don't know what the other one's going to happen. Something might happen with the other one. We'll see.
Yeah, who knows? Since you mentioned cutout, 6-foot tall cutout thing, I used to live in a little apartment building which was near an alleyway. Which you don't think that would have anything to do with a cutout until you realize I am me. I worked at a movie theater. I got to take crap home that we were supposed to destroy.
Awesome.
You know who Hannibal Lecter is, right?
Heck yeah. Absolutely.
Imagine
we ate his kidney with a fava beans,
Yeah.
a nice Chianti.
Now, imagine walking by a place at night and you see Hannibal Lecter in the mask, covering his face, staring out the window. That was the only good thing about that apartment building that I was.
That's pretty epic.
Yeah, and it was great because it was right. I live literally right next to one of the mail drop-off areas. Like you take your mail.
You gotta go all Home Alone and put that thing on like a Lionel train set, so they walk by the window.
Mm-hmm. No, I just left it standing there. I had other ones, but between moving, I don't have them anymore, sadly. But it was fun while it lasted. But anyway, we should probably do some Blizzard news stuff.
Let's knock it out, man.
Yes.
There's some good stuff and some crazy stuff and some
there's some stuff that's
disturbing
not
stuff.
There's some stuff that's not listed on here that you're going to talk about anyway.
Yeah.
So up first, we're going to start with Heroes because that seems to be the sadly least popular game that everyone, majority of people will play because
I guess with Alessander like in the chat channel, Heroes is now the loser of the pack.
Well, okay, so here's the Diablo news. Maybe, possibly, they're doing a 4, same as it's been for over a year. We have no real news. They're hiring people to work on something Diablo related. Speculation. They think I've heard people say we might get some sort of Diablo announcement at BlizzCon.
I would wager a guess though that whatever new Diablo they come out with will have something to do with the Nintendo Switch, because that platform has been gobbling up access to those intellectual properties all over the place.
I could see Diablo getting onto the Switch because it's already been on other video game things, so I don't see an issue with it going to the Switch. It's got enough buttons. I think it'd work.
Right, and I bet you they had integrated. They've got equipment on there for integrated voice as well.
Yeah. Well, you don't really need voice for Diablo. You just go and you kick crap out of stuff. But yeah, if it's got that in it, then cool.
I'm going to get a cue card here in a second, I'm sure.
In terms of StarCraft, there's always tournaments going on. If you really, really want to know about the StarCraft tournaments, let me get the actual link here. From Alessander.com.
Yes. I was going to say the same thing.
That'll give you more detail than any one podcast can ever go into, and you'll actually see some StarCraft coverage.
Because she's passionate about it and really enjoys it.
And there's nothing wrong with that. However, it's one of those things. There's just not the audience from our side to. I mean, there's Alessander, who is wonderful and she's great, but you can't really do. Here's news for this one thing that this one person and only this one person cares about. I'm sorry, Alessander, but that's just how it is. We'll cover StarCraft every so often when there's something huge. She inspires me to care about it, though. Yeah.
So
if you love StarCraft, I love StarCraft. I don't watch nearly enough of it. I just don't have the time with everything else. There you go. But yeah, so there's that. So next up would be Heroes as the least watched overall.
But there's some really cool stuff.
Yeah.
There's some really cool stuff in Heroes.
Yeah.
Launch it.
So there's a Draenei coming to Heroes, and a female Draenei who is a paladin from Warlords of Draenor lore. It's Yrel.
You're real soft there.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me say her name. Let me say her name again correctly so you can do it right. Yrel.
You're real soft there, Draven.
Yeah. So we got another paladin coming. She's a tank, a warrior, but it's a tank. She's got some interesting abilities. I've been hearing she's a little undertuned on the PTR at the moment.
You mean they're going to release a new character that's not wildly overtuned?
Well, I don't think they want them wildly overtuned because, well,
isn't that the MO on every Blizzard?
Normally I would think that, yeah, they want them to be wildly overtuned, and then I was like, no, because HGC, and then I was like, well, they're not going to play it right away anyway. So, yeah, she'll probably get overtuned after the PTR testing and all that. It might just be people don't know how to play her too, but from what I've been hearing, she's slightly undertuned. I haven't talked to any pros, or heard from, I should more accurately say. I don't
Why
want to talk
not?
to them.
Why don't you just text all the pro buddies and just be like,
I could message a few people, but I try not to bother them.
fair enough.
I mean, it's right up there with my Taryn Gregory bingo thing that I made.
Which was pretty entertaining. That's a good one.
But
that's not all in Heroes.
Yeah, that's not all in Heroes.
That's not all.
We actually are getting a Warcraft map.
So, sorry to jump in on this, but during Vanilla, during the original PvP ladder, there was one place that everyone went to drive their buddies up the wait list to get the highest ranks you could get. And if you've already done all that and it's old history for you, you know what the answer is. But Draven, what is the new map?
Alterac Pass, which is basically part of Alterac Valley.
Right.
It looks interesting. I haven't played on it. I haven't got on the PTR there, so I don't 100% know what's going on.
I may load up the PTR just to take a look this weekend, but that was one of my favorite BGs back when it had objectives and there was a lot of moving parts. Now it's very cut and dry. You know, you hack through X number of mini bosses in order to force the hand of the other team, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but back in Burning Crusade, which is when I started, not Vanilla, my level 62 to 70 experience was Alterac Valley.
It's a great map.
I mean, it wasn't even that, and I was playing on Horde side too, guys, so keep that in mind whenever you're like, oh, of course an Alliance player would level in Alterac Valley. You always win there. No, I was playing Horde side.
Yeah, it wasn't always. It depended on the servers as to what kind of balance you really saw.
Yeah.
Because some of the servers unbalanced. Like there were Horde heavy wins, and there was also some that had Alliance heavy wins.
Yeah, I mean, you know, stuff happens. But that's where I leveled, because I was getting more experience than questing. Like, even then I was admittedly bad at the game. More so than now, I should say. But even then, the min-maxing thing was one of those things that was already in my head. Like, I'm going to get more experience by doing this, so yeah, I'm going to do that. I got plenty of gear. Like, I went into my first heroic, I was over-geared for it. I went into my first raid, I was over-geared for it from the PvP gear at the time. Yeah,
back then you could do it that way, and both were viable ways to get good enough gear to do content. Yeah. I remember wearing PvP gear in Molten Core raids.
Sometimes those were better pieces, but it was just one of those things. I was geared enough that I could probably have gotten into third or fourth raid of Burning Crusade, because there was like 37,000 of them.
Sure.
So I don't know if I could have gotten to Black Temple. I know I couldn't have gotten into Sunwell. Well, I could have gotten in, but I would have been a liability.
Just like today.
Well, today I'm a liability in a different way. It's like, oh, he broke the fight again.
You did break one just recently. That was pretty impressive. Was it Coven?
Yes.
You broke Coven a little bit? Yeah.
Well, no.
A little
but
break.
I broke it from you guys' perspective. I got caught on a load screen when I bubble hearthed.
Gotcha.
I was like, last pull, okay, well, we're wiping bubble hearth. So it wasn't me breaking anything. It was more of I got caught on a load screen.
So I think my homework is going to be before next week, maybe one of us could check out the PTR and see what Alterac Pass looks like. Yeah. But no, I'm excited for that part of.
If I have time, like I spent time getting the WoW PTR updated, the beta. Or I did that yesterday. So, working on it. I'll get some of these other things. I mean, it's going to be a little while before it's out. Probably next month, maybe later this month. So we got some time. So yay. Okay, news from Hearthstone. I'm going to go ahead and mute myself and let Galv talk because he said there's news. I didn't see anything worse.
There is a couple of things going on. Tavern Brawl's pretty good. But the one piece that just happened like today is there is a special pack that's available only until June 18th, and it's called the Get In Here, and it's an unlimited purchase, 40% discount on 10 packs of cards. 2 from Witchwood, 2 from Frozen Throne, 2 from Kobolds and Catacombs, 2 from Ungoro, and 2 from the Classic Pack section. So I'm going to double check, but I think it's $7.99 for 10 packs right now. Yes. And that's unlimited purchase ability until June 18th. So 2 things. One is that's a phenomenal deal for the volume of cards you can get. And the second thing is if you're actively using it's not an exploit, but the Amazon coin purchase where you can get deals on Amazon coins and use those to buy your card packs, you could be looking at an even steeper discount for cards.
That's going to get fixed.
Well,
eventually.
That's how Amazon does it because Blizzard's getting full value for those packs. But when people, get 20% off the Amazon coin purchases because Amazon's giving them the discount, then you're going through that process. Whoever's using that process is getting a better value. But I'm not sure it's anything Blizzard can really monkey with. I don't know, maybe. But
we'll see.
You should get these packs and gift them to your favorite Hearthstone players, like Mage of Death or Never Impossible. Or me.
No. There is something else. I think it's on the 13th of this month. You get a free pack of some sort. I don't know all the details.
There is something coming up here. Log in June 13th for a free Golden Classic pack, which means it's a classic pack of cards, but every card in there is golden. That is true. And they did launch Taverns of Time is going to be coming out, which is a limited time. Unique cards will appear in the arena along with new quests for award gold and dust. And then the last piece of that puzzle that I think would be interesting is they did launch a new animated video for Hearthstone about opening packs of cards, which is cute.
Yeah, I did see these.
Might cry.
I won't go that far. Some people might. But, I did see these, and then I made the joke about there was no Hearthstone news, and there is none in our show notes. But that was me forgetting to add them. Like the video, the card pack thing, that was just me forgetting to add the Hearthstone thing, and then with 100 other things I've been doing all week. So,
that's cool.
So good on Gal for keeping me honest. Ish.
I did?
Yeah.
Oops.
Yep. So Overwatch. Honestly, the big news, the 2nd year anniversary is still going strong. Right now, as of recording time, it is Junkenstein Endless. So you have to survive wave after wave after wave, like think 12 waves total. And then you can, when you finally are killed at the end, you win as long as you made it through the 12. But I missed Lucio Ball already. Like, I like Junkenstein, but I don't like Endless mode as much. I like Lucio Ball way better than that. So it's on Endless mode right now. We're going to go through a couple others, and then it's going to end on Lucio Ball on the 11th, I think. It's going through either way. I hope it's not the May Offensive and the Yeti again, because that's just stuff. But,
Yeah.
Endless Junkenstein at the moment. But right now, since it's weekend, the big news, it's double XP. Because, it's year 2. It turned 2.
Yep. And if you do not play or haven't played for a while, this is a good time to get some bonus loot chests and things like that. Overwatch is doing amazingly well. I know that their viewership is normal. I would say probably normalizing to the mean, but the action in the Overwatch League is still really good.
Yeah.
So I think that a lot of the drama has fallen off, like the negative stuff. And the only thing that's happening is quality games. I haven't heard any drama lately, like bad press.
Well, that's because they kicked all the people out that were causing it.
Right.
In terms of the pro scene. There is the World Cup, which will be taking place at Blizzard, and our favorite drama starter is going to be on Team Canada. So
that's XQCX, right?
Whatever his name, yeah, XQC, I think is the whole name. But as soon as I saw that, I just kind of messaged Twitch, messaged Thist saying, "I know you like the guy, but I am now actively rooting against Canada."
Why would you root against Tim Hortons and coffee?
I'm not rooting against them. I'm just rooting against Team Canada in the Overwatch World Cup. And then she's like, "Well, if you want to lose, root for whoever you want." I was like, "We both know Korea's gonna win. let's not deceive ourselves here."
Yeah, they have a strong chance of pushing everyone else out of the finalists bucket. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really gonna take a whole lot from them. But yeah, double XP weekend. Whoo! By the time, if you're not watching this live, by the time you see this, it'll probably be over unless they extend it. But we got 2 more days left of the anniversary, so I will be playing more Overwatch.
Yeah, try to get a piece of it. If you're out there and you're casual Overwatch players, try to get a little anniversary time in, get some free loot boxes, because the barrier to entry for those early prizes is really low. If you're trying to grind boxes, you'd have to put a lot more time in.
It's normalized a little bit more now compared to what it used to be. So it doesn't take nearly as long as it used to, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what would you say if you put 2 hours in on Overwatch before the end of the event, you come away with a bunch of boxes?
If you put in 2 hours of endless Junkenstein and you get the same point totals that I had earlier, you're gonna get every 2 games will be a level because of double XP plus. We did fairly well. We got to out of 12, we got 16 waves or something like that.
And the anniversary boxes and the gold can be used to unlock anything right now.
Yes. I'm going to repeat the tip that I did last time. Summer skins, don't spend the 3K on. Summer events coming up soon. They'll drop in price. So hold off on them unless you can't wait. But I would recommend waiting until they drop, because then you can buy 3 up instead of 1. And then, wow, we're just kind of blowing through.
I'm excited though because my food's here. So if we end early, I'll get some snacks in.
Yeah. No, I just realized we started late, and we just kind of blew through everything, and now we're on Warcraft, which technically, if we're going in terms of popularity, Overwatch should be last, but we always save Warcraft for last because there's always more news there.
There is.
We can talk more in detail of. Yay. Anyway, you might have seen it on the title screen. I'm going to bring that back up for you. we can get rid. Let's say we get rid of the URL part. It's a little dark, but you can see it because of how I have everything set. But you can still see it. And it was bothering
This
me.
is unique. They've never done this before, and I'm super excited about it.
So, short version, BFA still comes out on the 14th. If you live in Europe or Asia or anywhere over that direction. If you're in the United States, you get it a day early. Not a whole day. In my case, I get it 6 hours early. If you're West Coast,
Right.
you get it 9 hours early. So it goes live midnight, 0 GMT, which is the line where it's just 0, like I'm at -5 GMT. So I get it at 7? I don't know.
But the effect.
Yeah, it's either way. Going by time zone, it's going live everywhere the exact same time, which
Right.
means we're going to get screwed over even more for World First because we don't have that extra 1 day. That
Well, technically, it's that weird thing because the way the time zones are spread out and where the international date line is, even though it's going live at the exact same instant for all these different places, we're a calendar day behind, even though we'll be playing at the exact same time as people in Australia.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, usually Europe is the world first. Whoever decides out of Europe, sometimes Korea, or even Russia for that matter. But it's usually a European team. Method, Paragon, big names like that. But usually we have a day of, okay, we get it first.
Right,
And
like launches on the 13th.
I know
that
this
means
isn't
America's
I know
going to
this
get
isn't the
its piece real
first
quick.
raid, but it seems like they might be doing this everywhere, making it go live everywhere at the same time. Maybe it's just the launch. I wouldn't be opposed to it if it was just the launch.
Well,
but if it's
part of this makes a lot of sense though, because everyone has the same starting line, even if it's got an unfair time of day for some people.
Yeah.
Because some people are just going to take the time off and start playing at midnight. They're going to be sitting there ready to rock and roll.
Yeah.
What's my one concern, Draven? Tell me what my top concern is for this stuff.
War mode.
Not that specifically. I'm talking about in general. Because everyone's got the exact same start time, the big concern in my mind is going to be
phasing,
server stability.
I think they're gonna have everything phased enough that it'll be okay.
It's possible, but remember, like $1 loading screens, when that stuff, my concern is that even though that they feel like they're going to gear up for it, having, what do you think, half the population of the game playing at once might be a little much for them. I
think they've learned their lesson from Warlords. They're not going to have everyone goes to one spot outside of, I know you have to start it off by going to your hometown, so Stormwind or Orgrimmar. But after that, like everything everything is going to be, we're going to take care of Battle for Lordaeron. We're going to take care of the Burning of Teldrassil, all that stuff.
I just looked at the comments on the forums, and the number one question that came up was, I'll read it. So, considering that this will be available to more people in the U.S. at launch, I'm not sure everyone sees that for midnight release at a wide age range. Will servers be ready for this? They said that with the CRZ and sharding technologies coupled with being able to choose a starting zone, overload should not be as much of a problem as it has been in the past. Yep. Still, I have never seen them implement successfully. This might be it, though. That kind of volume.
Yeah.
In one shot.
We'll see. I mean, outside of Warlords, that bottleneck, and then the second bottleneck, they've been getting better. Legion, I didn't notice anything. Admittedly, it was still like a midnight launch, 3 a.m. I think, for me. But I didn't see an issue. It might have been midnight. I don't remember. I mean, Miss had the unfortunate couple bottlenecks there at the beginning too. They didn't have the sharding and the CRZ going at the time. Warlords had that, but or at least the start of it. But once Legion hit, most of the cross realm stuff has been fixed. Like I'm not getting people getting I'm not seeing people getting kicked out of mounts because they crossed a zone of one of the borders.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point.
So that's always a good thing. So I think you're probably gonna experience a little lag from time to time. I don't think it's gonna be terrible. Like my usual latency is around 41, 42, 46, somewhere around there. It might go up to 100.
Yeah, like in Dalaran.
Well, I'm talking like just for an example for like load screens. We're not going to be going to Dalaran, so it doesn't matter. We got new zones for that.
Khadgar lets one of the young mages drive at their 21st birthday and crashes it into the hillside or something.
Crashes it into the Tomb of Sargeras.
Ooh, that would be an interesting place to park it.
Yeah. Again, I will reiterate this. If you are going to play when it goes live, and it is probably going to not be everyone gets it at exactly the same time, it's going to be probably a couple waves, let a couple people get through a quest or two, next wave. Just like Legion did. You might even get in a couple minutes early or later, but Legion did this exact same way. So many people got in, and then boom, quest pop up for some more people, that kind of thing. If you are going to play live and you're going to try to grind out as much as you can, turn on War Mode. Yes, that activates PvP. It does not activate PvP with your same faction.
See, for those of us who've been playing on PvP servers our entire careers, it's not a big deal.
Yeah, this is for
for those people protected by PvE flags since forever ago, yeah.
But the reason I say this is you're going to get extra abilities, CC breakers, basically. Cool. Could come in useful. You never know. But more importantly, you're going to get extra XP for quest completions and stuff like that. Now, I can hear what you PvEers are going to say. Well, what if I get ganked? One, not going to happen. You're in a completely different area than your opposing faction. So if you're playing Alliance, you're over at Colteris, where the Horde can't come.
Not yet.
Until they're max level.
Right, and so the only people who are really going to suffer are people who haven't been launching quick.
Yeah.
So, because as soon as you start having some people hit max level, there might be griefers coming across.
And then to those people who want to try to be the griefers, PvP.
File on you.
PvP scaling. Your level 120 can and could likely get destroyed by a 112 because of scaling.
Yeah, especially if there's a couple of 112s.
So it is going to be, if they do the scaling right, it'll be skill based. Yeah, the 120 might have an advantage because of whatever gear.
Some of the gear, some abilities, because you're more likely to have epics and rares at 120 than you are grinding up through 112, 113.
Yeah.
Greens and gray, whatever, greens and a couple blues.
Yeah. So go ahead, turn on War Mode. Worst thing that'll happen is, you might get ganked by a group of people later on, but for the first couple days, you should be fine. I think right now they're estimating it's going to take about 36 hours of non-stop play to reach max level. That probably will get cut down with various things such as War Mode. No one's gone through with War Mode yet, so. But right now, I think they're estimating around 36 hours. So you got at least a day and a half to not worry about it.
Well, this is really interesting. My headset has still got really high power charge. Cool.
Yay. Next up on the list is the Mage Tower, which we will continue to talk about until it goes away.
Because
everyone loves the Mage Tower appearances, even though
no.
Not all of them are...
The news, the reason why.
Oh, yeah. At some point, not yet, but at some point, Blizzard has confirmed, and we kind of already knew this, but they've now officially confirmed it. Once they turn it on and decide to keep it, the Mage Tower can and will be turned on for the rest of the expansion. Does that mean this current, whenever it gets built, it'll be up for the rest of the expansion? We don't know. Will it drop and come back and then be turned on? We don't know. But at some point prior to the expansion, the Mage Tower will just be there forever.
Yep.
Until the expansion.
Right. So your opportunity is not going to be limited because since it's been up, less people are turning in resources at the Broken Shore. The Mage Tower is not coming up as often as it could be.
Yeah.
And so people have to wait for those windows to get their shots or appearance. But the ability to do those challenges for the appearances will be open and available until B of A drops.
Yep. Once Blizzard flips the switch and says, "Yep, it's good. It's there permanent. Not a problem." I'm hoping it's whenever this next one gets built. I mean, it's still going slow, but hopefully when it gets built, it'll just be there the rest of the expansion. I would like to see that personally, because that'll give me a chance to get my druid, my warrior, and a few other characters if I find one that I like, but mostly the druid, because I want the steroid bear.
So what else is going to keep working until Battle of Azeroth hangs
4.
in there? Battle for Azeroth.
Well, Legiondaries.
What?
I'm still calling them Legiondaries. They're going to keep working next expansion.
Oh, really?
Sort of.
How long are they going to sort of keep working?
Well, that depends on you, Galv.
Oh.
If you are going to be like me and you're going to be like, I'm leveling all the way until I can't, it'll probably last for a day, maybe 2.
Fridays until 115, baby.
Yep. You get to keep them through level 115. Once you ding 116, they are disabled. All the stats go to 0. Well, the stats will still be there, but they'll effectively be at zeros. Your trinket procs, such as the Antorus ones, Almenthul, those where you get the procs in the raid, will obviously not proc because you're not going to be in the raid. But speaking of Almenthul,
it's an exception to the rule. Do you like that rhyme?
Yeah. Every other trinket has disabled at 116. Almenthul doesn't. So, unless it was missed, possible, it seems like it can be used all the way up to 120. And while it may not be your best trinket possible, it'll likely still be a good one.
Yeah, the Pantheon procs obviously you're not going to be able to take advantage of, but after the 260, after the stat squish, it looks like it's still going to have pretty aggressive stat values up until 120, and we don't know what the actual comparable gear at that level is actually going to look like, but it looks like it's going to be viable for most players until they find 120 level somethings
raid
to
gear,
replace
basically. From what I've been seeing from other people, unless they fix it, it is 120 rating. That's when it might get replaced.
Howdy to Spider for tuning in. Bring your friends, buddy.
Yeah, he's only late. We were late too, so I can't yell at him too much.
That's all right.
Yeah. There was something else that was a little weird that I was like, well, it's about time this gets put in the game. Do you remember the cinematic whenever WoW first was a thing?
Yeah, I do. Yes. Keep going.
Well, everyone was like, we want the armor from that cinematic. Like, most especially the Night Elf ones, because apparently I'm hoping it's going to be cosmetic armor so anyone can wear it. Otherwise, it's going to be just hunters. And no one needs more hunters.
Mm-hmm.
But the Night Elf armor is being put in the game from that cinematic. We don't know that players can use it.
Right.
But it's being put into the game itself.
I was going to say, it's got very limited protection coverage.
Yeah. So my question for you, Galv, in particular, do you think they're going to make it so you can get this in-game? Or, presuming it goes player ability, we can use it. Do you think it's going to be something in-game, whether it's a drop or some weird currency where you can buy it? Or do you think it would be alongside the old helmets that Blizzard did? And you had to buy it for like a microtransaction for just this appearance, but it's the entire set and you can trade it to all your tunes. Well, you wouldn't really have to.
I think Blizzard is going to be moving away from microtransactions for stuff like that, given the number of armor sets, but they're going to do it in a roundabout way where it's going to be some sort of in-game currency or some way of siphoning gold out of the system. I bet you these go as sets through some sort of vendor system, because if they can deplete gold in-game, that's almost as good as real-world currency conversion. You know what I mean? Anything that's a gold sink in-game with this many things will have the same effect as microtransactions.
Yeah. That's the Spider, 2 million gold. That's $200 roughly for US. Then you got the Brontosaurus, the big 5 million gold. That's $500 US roughly. And
yeah,
if you you could turn that gold into tokens, which would be worth roughly around that much.
exactly. But one of these really bothered me, by the way. If you look at the Stormwind armor with the shoulders for the female model, second from the bottom on the list, the shoulders are so large towards the interior that they literally meet in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel like it's I don't think they've fine-tuned everything yet. I think a lot of this is still a work in progress.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I know the male Night Elf didn't have shoulders at all. For the armor.
I think they're steering that direction for Night Elves, though, to match that cinematic. Yeah. It's very scantily clad modeling, and amazingly enough, I think that even a lot of women who play World of Warcraft tend to favor the ability to use looks like this anyway.
Some of them. I happen to know quite a few that hate that style because they're like, no, I want full armor because dang it, they should wear full armor.
And that's absolutely a fair point too.
Yeah.
But I think it's interesting to see both sides of that, where I know a lot of the lady gamers that actually seek out those types of transmog looks.
What do you think about in the transmog, whenever you go to the transmog dude, having two options for each look? Male, and since right now we've got the male look and the female look. Male look tends to be covered. The female look is skimpy.
I think that more options is always better. You're technically getting more value if they give you more options, but I think it would be nice if you could choose from multiple types of looks. What like let's say you have a female character, but you want the same armor set but a more covered up look. Mm-hmm. If you had the ability to choose from both types.
That's what I mean. Choose the male setup. I mean, they'd have to spend a lot of time to fit them to the female models, but I would love it if that would happen. That way I could kind of just go to my one friend person and be like, see, now you don't have to worry about it. You can wear that skimpy dress on a male tune.
Well, right, but I mean, like a bare-chested monk or a rogue, or there's a couple of options there that would be really cool, or warriors even. More options means more value to the player. Frankly, I know that it takes work for them to put that together, but those transmog options and graphical options is just more value to the player if they can provide it.
Pointed out in chat. Thank you, Alessander. I'm going to basically just quote her. Let's be honest. The WoW avatars aren't really all that sexy compared to most of the other games out there these days.
That's a fair point.
I mean, yeah.
Although, have you seen the Draenei? They literally have tail.
Moving on. Terrible.
I'm sorry.
Terrible.
It's
terrible.
Yeah.
We got a new comic. We've gotten 3 of them now.
2 new ones since the last chat.
Since the last show?
Yeah. Well, as Alessander in chat correctly points out, the Conan series of video games, whoa, like
It's rated M
World
for
of
a
War.
reason.
Yeah, World of Warcraft is like G-rated with like fluffy bunnies and non-pornographic Muppets compared to Conan. Holy smokes!
Yeah.
Carry on.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Anyway, we got comics. The one I want to talk about, though, is the newest one, the Sylvanas sisters. The Windrunners.
Okay, because you had
technically the
you had
Windrunners.
Magni in chat because
Yeah.
I don't think you covered Magni yet.
We
the
did.
Windrunners.
Yeah, we covered Magni last week, I think. Because
Oh,
it came
okay.
out just
All right.
before.
All right, because that's what was in. Oh, gotcha. I see it. It's updated.
Yeah.
My bad.
Yeah, so this one's called The Three Sisters. It's Sylvanas, Ilaria, and Varisa? No. Ilaria.
Valeria.
Yeah. So it's Sylvanas and her two sisters. And they go through, and it's the longest one and all that. And I've seen a lot of people saying, maybe we're going to get a third faction after this expansion. I think it's a little late for Warcraft to do a third faction, guys.
Well, but what if they break down the faction walls in the near future?
And
in which case,
and then you just choose what faction you want to be.
right? As opposed to having two factions and a third faction, it's more. You can sort of blur it a bit.
I think that would be way too much coding. That unless they've been working on it for 5 expansions.
Well, I mean, if we really want to get into the weeds on it with regards to the population balance in raiding and other scenarios, that's a real thing. That's a real concern.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible they'll do it. I think honestly though, I wouldn't expect a faction change. Like, I think at most you'll get another race that can be either faction.
So what I will say about this comic, and it was good. I've enjoyed all the comics they've put out. I did not like as much the style of drawing. I did not like I think that maybe they tried to use the faces of actors from some of the cinematics.
I think
opposed to
the Sylvanas in particular. I think they tried to use the meme of Ian with the Sylvanas makeup on his face.
Doesn't it feel that way? Like I am going to be critical of the drawings in this case.
Okay, so I'm going to preface this by saying they still draw way better than me. At my absolute peak of drawing, I can draw Dragon Ball Z faces. That's the tiptoe of my ability,
right.
And even then, it's not always that good. So whoever drew these is still much better artists than me. I'm going to preface everything I'm going to say.
That's totally fair.
They're still better than me.
That's totally fair.
That being said, yeah, especially the Sylvanas, I thought the artistry was not to the level I was expecting.
Or to the previous comic series, or to the other characters in this comic. I thought Sylvanas, I thought her eye makeup or coloration or whatever it was looked really clownish in this comic.
I didn't get clownish. It's just the way the face structure sat wrong with me. Like everywhere else, she's like skinny, like horribly,
I will make a caveat.
horribly skinny. But her face.
I thought her banshee form look was the best frame in the entire comic, and the other ones were not.
Yeah.
But as far as the content of the comic, it gives you a layer to the onion that you might not have expected was still there with regards to Sylvanas' character.
Okay, so we're just going to spoil this, guys. They go through, they go to their old tower, they clear out some undead that weren't listening to Sylvanas, and they're on their way, they're playing this game, 2 Truths, 1 Lie. Which I've heard of before, but it was weird to see on this. And they all go through and they tell the 3 things, and 2 of them have to be true, 1 is a lie. I get the feeling all 3 of them from Sylvanas were lies. Because we know one of them was for sure a lie. She was gonna kill her sisters.
Well, that's intimated in the story. But the other problem is, I thought that was actually a really contrived vehicle for this comic. Like, that wasn't a really good vehicle. All it did was put a lot of chat bubbles in.
Yeah. I did like the way they put the void whispers in.
Yes,
with it.
that was cool. Awesome.
And then the reaction to Sylvanas, like she's the true enemy, blah blah blah. I'm like, and that I think that's the reason why between that and how it was all set up. I think that's the reason why people are saying, "Oh, we're gonna get a third faction." They might break, they might break up. I don't think we're gonna get a third faction. I freely admit I could be wrong. It's possible.
And often not.
I don't think it's gonna happen. But yeah, it was what it was. It was basically the Windrunner family reunion minus their brother, who's dead. But I don't know. I got this weird feeling with everything Sylvanas said was a lie.
I'll have to reread it with that thought in mind. And I thought since she suggested the game in the first place, that was not the case. But I'll have to go back and reread it.
She suggested the game, but she went last, and then she never answered which one was a lie. I think
which was another bad mechanic.
I think that it was twofold of why she didn't. I think the signal to kill her sisters was her answering that question. Where, obviously, I would never betray you, my sisters. Well, guess what? Now you're dead. Oh, now you're my friends again. Thank you. So obviously that was a lie.
Well,
Does she
I wonder if
miss being
this
alive?
is like...
Probably not at this point. Like,
I disagree on that though, because I think that she ultimately, part of her psyche, absolutely resents what was done to her by the Lich King.
Oh, that part I agree with. But does she want to actually be alive again? I think everything that I've seen in game and other novels that I haven't read all of them, obviously, but the ones that I have read, and she's there, she doesn't want to be alive. She wants everyone else to be dead. You're muted.
If you really... Thank you.
I was trying to signal.
If you drill down into what makes Sylvanas the character Sylvanas, the fact that choice was taken away from her, whether it be something akin to Me Too movement or whatever else you can relate it to these days, that regardless of where she is now and how she's adapted to what she is now, that having that choice taken away from her or having that been forced upon her is absolutely a driving factor in how she is the way she is.
Not arguing that at all. I don't believe that. Sometimes I wish I was still alive. No, I don't believe you. And then I am proud to be War Chief of the Horde. Bull crap.
I
mean, it's possible.
That's tough. That's tough.
It's possible. Maybe. No, I don't know if this was set prior to the novel or after the novel. That would be important.
That's a good question, too. That's a good
because
question,
that might change the whole proud thing. Because we haven't got really an update on her in terms of how she feels. Like, as far as we know, she doesn't. She's like, I don't want to be war chief. There's too many eyes on me to do what I want to do, which is kill everybody. Don't get me wrong. Sylvanas
grow
is
the ranks of the Forsaken.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, guys. Sylvanas is a great character overall, but lately she's turning into one-dimensional. Let's just kill everybody.
What if Vol'jin set that up? What if Vol'jin knew that the only way to really keep Sylvanas
in check
was to put that many eyes on her?
That's possible, but I have this other sinking feeling that it's going to turn into something else. And it's possible spoilers, but then I don't know because we don't know that far. I think something's going to happen and we need someone as ruthless as her to be in charge.
So that might be Sylvanas is a boss of a next expansion level event.
No, I don't think we're ever going to fight her, but I don't think she's going to kill herself to sacrifice herself or whatever for anything. She might sacrifice others to do it. What I'm thinking is she'll do something so evil, but it was for the greater good, that people will be like, okay, that sucked, but you got to go. And then she just leaves.
Roast Nomi at a stake in the middle of Teldrassil.
if that's how the fire started, I'd be okay. I think the Alliance would be
Right?
okay with losing
Like
a
the
tree.
the,
As someone
the
who
elves are
yeah, as someone who mains an Alliance character, I would be okay with losing a tree if it meant the death of Nomi.
fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. What else have we got tonight?
Oh, well, I mean, we mentioned, and we didn't do it last week because you weren't here, Gal, but we did have that whole changing fate conversation of which WoW character would we kill or keep alive? Why? How would stuff change if we did it? If you
I
want to
think
go,
I did it on the very first time you mentioned it.
yeah, I mean, we did mention it a little bit, but it was mostly, what would happen if kept this other person alive, or kept who would we keep alive? And I still I lost the name of him. I looked it up and I couldn't remember, but Nosdormu's mate was who I picked to keep alive.
Right, I remember that.
Yeah, because I went to all this stuff would be different. So I'm going to change this question up. Out of everyone who
I
is
had an answer.
okay, go ahead. Well, go ahead and answer, and then I'll change it after that.
Jaina's father survives. How about that?
Okay, how does that change anything?
I think that if Jaina's father survives, the whole dynamic between the Colterons and the Alliance and Jaina and whether or not she's an outcast is thrown off its axis quite a bit. And
Okay.
I would just be curious to see what spin that would cause.
Okay, I'm going to top that, at least in not like a name, but
Okay.
how would that affect Jaina's relations with Thrall and the Horde?
I think it would have improved relations with Thrall and the Horde.
Really? Because
Well,
Jaina's dad just wanted to kill the Horde, if I remember correctly.
right, but until they mercilessly, I guess it wouldn't just be her dad, but let's say that the Theramore incident hadn't occurred.
Which
Right?
one?
The bombing of Theramore,
Okay.
the noming of Theramore.
Yeah. Yeah, the bombing of Theramore would definitely change things quite a bit. But okay. So let's change the question up a little bit. Alessandra
Okay.
sent us the question of who would we keep alive instead. My question to you is going to be, who would you kill instead of left alive? I can give you two names, and they're 100% from this expansion, Legion.
I got one for you.
Go ahead.
Khadgar.
Okay. And what effect
Not
do you think
only
that
is
would
he
have?
GD annoying,
Actually, a better question for you. Not when does Khadgar die?
Khadgar dies in the assault on Draenor. How about that? You don't get busted out of the you successfully destroy the Dark Portal, but you don't have the benefit of Khadgar throughout that expansion. You don't have him for Legion either. So basically, I would imagine that even though he's not the most pivotal character, he facilitates much of the counterattacks in both scenarios. And the Horde and the Alliance would be relegated to essentially guerrilla fighters with decimated hometowns, fighting out of the shadows in essentially an oppressive Legion-style scenario.
Okay, so basically you're saying we break the portal in Warlords, and then he dies shortly after that.
Correct.
Okay, so short version, we get stuck in Draenor because there is now officially no connection, but we have no reinforce. Okay, I'm just logically going through this in my head, and I'm
this is like the resistance against the Nazis. This is like Hogan's Heroes.
You just killed our chances of winning anything, and I'm okay with it because it's the death of Khadgar.
Yes, the cost is worth the cost is worth it.
It's like, okay, but would we get...
You turn in quest, you actually get what you need in exchange for a reasonable quest.
Yeah. My only question of this is, do we end up getting Illidan for Legion at all? because
Maybe in some cosmic sense, Illidan is empowered as the next Guardian. You know, maybe someone else has to be Guardian,
well,
but
Khadgar technically
it's
isn't Guardian.
he literally is though. Technically not, but he literally is.
Yeah.
There's no one like Khadgar.
Yeah.
Nobody.
I wish my mage could have all three spells, all three
Right?
spell types at the same time, and cast them all at the same time. Oh, yeah, I could. Yeah. I mean, obviously, one of the things I'd pick would be Nomi from Panda Land. Kill them off right off the bat.
Barbecued panda.
Yeah. But if I had to pick one person who would die instead of let live, see, I probably should have thought of an answer, and I'm going through all the names in my head. Like, okay, what would happen if this person died? What would happen if this person died?
You know what? The answer might be more interesting after the launch of B of A.
Yeah, I'll get back. I'll have my answer for next week. How about that?
Okay, that's a fair point.
Okay. So, and chat room, feel free to tweet at us or come to our Discord. And who would you like to see alive and give some consequences? Who would you like to see dead? Give some consequences. That kind of thing. That's the interesting part for me is the consequences.
Alessander being catty about it.
Alessander, I'd want to kill Jaina because I don't like her. That's fair. It's fair. Yeah, I can think of so many names, but the way
Garona puts a knife in Jaina at just the right time.
instead of
going after Khadgar, he's a red herring, and she shanks Jaina instead when they're defending Khadgar.
I can think of so many names, but because I want to have like consequences, like I'm going to save it for next week. So,
awesome.
With that, we're going to call that a show. But before we end the show, time for some shout outs, some contact info, that kind of thing. So, Galv, have you anyone to shout out?
I was thinking about shout outs. I think the fire department really deserves a shout out. Not just the leaders, but I'm not trying to be self-aggrandizing there. But we had an excellent turnout the last 2 weeks of raid nights. And not just that, but we've got new recruits or old friends joining us for the first time. And not only is it going really well, they're playing well. We're back up to our progression level. And everyone's having a really good time. So,
and we still can't kill Coven on Heroic without 10 plus wipes.
We're progressing in Mythic. We can basically get our farm done with Agrimar and Argus, but we can't kill Coven regularly. But I think the team's doing a really good job, especially some of our new people. I'm really impressed, and our carries. We've been carrying people for ahead of the curve. And the people that come in for carries, even if they're under-geared, are doing really well, which makes our night so much easier. So big shout-out to
and oftentimes
teams.
They're doing better than some of the main raiders do.
Which we are not shy about pointing out.
Yeah. Before we get into your contact info, I just want to point out, I've already mentioned this to Howland. I did not say who it is. We might have a special guest this Wednesday. They will be under a fake name in Discord, and I already told them, don't talk. If you want to just kill yourself at the beginning of the fight, that's fine. Just whatever. But I don't want to give any names out until they give the okay. But it is possible we will have I don't want to say celebrity, because the connotation there is a little weird. But in the WoW circles, this person is fairly known. I will say that much. And leave
fairly
it there. Known.
Oh, and as a side note, although we did have Cuddle scheduled for this Wednesday, he's getting stuck in California, and he had to reschedule, so I'm going to work on that with him too. But
Yeah, it's not like Vin Diesel or anything like that. It's not like a celebrity.
Vin Diesel doesn't need a carry.
No, he's probably doing some carries. He's like, I solo that person. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Well, I thought he was part of an actual small group of Hollywood celebs that raids. So maybe I'm mistaken.
I don't know if they're in a guild together that raid together, but yeah, he still plays. I don't know how often.
I'm pretty sure his regular team, if he's on one, would get him where he needs to go.
I'm pretty sure he doesn't talk or he has a voice changer if he's on a regular team and they don't know who he is. But yeah, anyway, Galv, how do people get a hold of you online?
All right. Right now, the best way to get a hold of me is www.twitch.tv/Galvanid and also Galvanid Online on Twitter. But catch me in game. If it's Galvanid, it's probably me. How about you, Draven? How can people get a hold of you?
Well, easiest way to get a hold of me is over on the Twitter at Draven Dresden. Yeah, as long as you're polite, we can talk about just about anything. There are some off-limit topics because that's just how things are. But other than that, as long as you're polite, sure, whatever. And then we have I got to do my shout-outs. Pre-shout-out to said person who I'm not naming because maybe next week.
Maybe next week.
We have a Patreon for the show, patreon.com/podcast-epic-fail. Short version, if you want to give us money, we will gladly take it. We will think you're insane, but we will say thank you and gladly take it.
Thanks, Norman.
Well, Norman's been AFK from there for a bit, but understandably so. There's good reasons for that. We're okay with that. As for Discord, I mentioned the Discord if you want to get in on some of these questions that we have every now and then. Hopefully we'll start having more questions like this one, theoretical questions, that kind of thing, because that kind of stuff actually interests me. We have a Discord. We can have that conversation there. bit.ly/epicfail Discord. It's a little slow. It's a smaller Discord. It's fine. But it'll be cool. We can have our conversations there instead of all of them here in the show and with chat room and all that. But that'll be fine. The opening theme song, most of it, minus the heartbeat at the beginning that I borrowed from somewhere else. bensound.com. And we can use that because of Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0 licensing. AKA, say we got it from there, and you're good. You can use it. That's the short version of it. It's more complicated than that, but yeah. So, Galv.
Yes, sir.
Not that kind of theoretical questions theory. Not that kind. Don't think it's all that.
You won't even accept an apology from me?
Anyway, do you have any last words for the show or anything like that?
I play hard.
You really got to work on that.
I wasn't really thinking about that one ahead of time.